card.
Okay.
Ooh, you know, this is really interesting. I know you'll like this. Take a peek at that one. Marvelous. I have been able to tell how to find a card by just listening to the sound it makes. Sounds very strange, but I'll show you what I mean. Go ahead and put it right about there. Marvelous, right in the pack. I give the cards a little mixing like this. I'll even give them a shuffle. Now I just have to listen to the sounds that they make. Let me just listen for a moment. Yep. I have found 3 cards that tell me exactly what your card is and where it is. This first one tells me that you probably chose a black card. Was it a black card? It was a black card. Excellent. We'll put that there. The second one tells me that it was a number card. It was a number card? Excellent. We're on the right track. The third one tells me the precise location of your card, which is very fascinating. You notice it is a 3. So all I do is count 3. 1, 2, 3. And if you would, go ahead, name what your card was, please, out loud.
An 8 of clubs.
The what? The 8 of clubs?
Yeah.
There's the 8 of clubs? Like that?
Oh, wow.
Son of a gun. Well, let's take a listen to the sound of my cards. That is the little hook to get the audience into what's about to happen. A card is selected. There is no preparation with the deck. A card is selected. Let's take a peek and see which one it is. This time, the 4 of spades. Now, the card will be returned to the deck, and any simple control can be used, of course. I like to do the following. I like to spread these cards out, keeping my break, casually telling my audience, please remember your card, of course. I then give the cards a brief mixing, something such as that. That's a combination of double undercut and cutting to the table. You see, you hold your break, you cut, leaving a small chunk, transfer the break to the thumb, cut some cards off from underneath. There's a double undercut. Transfer the break back, cut some more cards to the table, one more double undercut, and finally you cut to that last break. And the selected card is on the top of the pack. Very deceptive, that control is. You now tell your audience that you are going to listen to the sounds the cards make. Now, this mystery is perfect when you have an audience where there's a little bit of, say, animosity going. The audience wants you to fail. You can tell this when you're performing because your audience might say something like, gee, I don't think you can pull this one off. And you know when the audience is slightly in that tenuous state, this is the perfect mystery to really get them with. Show you what I mean. I now cut the cards and I hold a break, and this is what I'm going to do. As I hold the deck up to my ear, so to speak, I'm going to listen to the sound of the cards. In reality, I'm going to keep the break, but I'm going to count off 6 cards. Just like that. You can tell when you've counted off 6 cards. You hear them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. To the audience's way of thinking, you were just listening to the sounds of the cards. Notice how I have a break here, and I'm also kind of holding that break with my ring finger as well, because now my right hand from above is going to grab this upper pack and hold a break with 6 cards, like this. Now, this is the selected card. You are going to do as follows. As I turn this card over in a moment, remember that's the selected card, but you want your audience to believe that you do not know that that is the selected card. So, after I have listened to the sound of these cards and holding the break secretly, I now tell my audience that the next 3 cards that I have here will tell me precisely what and where your card is. I now flip over this card. Notice how this upper pack eclipses completely that card. This is important in a moment. I now tell my audience, the first card is a black 4. This tells me you probably chose a black number card. I now, as I flip this over, this is the perfect time to do what you're about to do, because when the audience saw that card, they think the magician has messed up. So as I turn this over, I'm going to drop, my thumb is going to release those 6 cards on top of the 4. Let me show you how that looks at full speed. All I have to do is move my thumb just slightly back when I do that. You say, look, the first card tells me you chose a black number card. I've just added 6 cards on top of that 4. I now deal that to the front. The audience will believe that's the 4 of spades. I now use the same move as before, and I just flip over the next card, and I continue. Whatever this card is, you are just going to make it up from here. In this case, it turns out to be a number card. So I say, look, this card confirms that it is a number card, because it alone, too, is a number card. Whatever you want to say. You could also say, look, it's a black card. This tells me you chose a black card for sure. I now just flip that card singly over. There's no adding of cards at this point. That was just in the first time round. I deal that card onto the table. I now flip over the third card, and I say, look, the last card confirms it. Yep, it was a number card, and in fact, it tells me where to find your card. All I have to do is spell red, for example, in this case. I deal that card down, and remember, I had 6 cards I added, so there's 1, 2, 3, and then there is the actual selected card. So now all I do is I spell red, R-E-D. And I say, there it is, your card. What was your card, by the way? Now, the audience, of course, will be a little bit perplexed because they think the 4 of spades is out here on the table. But when they say 4 of spades, I, of course, look at them right in the eyes and act as though, the what? The 4 of spades? And then I kind of glance out here at the table. A quick pause, and I say, that's right, the 4 of spades. And I toss that card onto the table. Many times your audience will want to dive down and grab that card and turn it over. And of course they can, because it is just in a different card. So let's give a quick recap to this. Selected card is on the top of the pack. It has been controlled to the top of the pack. I cut the deck, holding a break, and I let 6 cards go off. I tell my audience, I have found, by listening to the sound of these cards, 3 cards that know where your card is. This is when I do the first flip, telling the audience, yes, this card tells me you chose a black number card. When I flip this one over, I drop that group of cards off. I deal the first card out. I flip over the next card. Now in this case, you can see a different card has come up. At this point, my strategy would be, well, let's see, the next card tells me, the next card doesn't tell me anything. So I just deal it onto the table. I would go on to the third one. The next card tells me that, yes, it was a number card. Look at that. And it says club. So your card must be a few cards away. Let me spell out club. In this case, I would just continue on. C-L-U-B. And here it is. It would be right there in this case, the 4 of spades. So you see, you can spell out easily to any card. Just remember, you added 6, and the next card up would be the selected card. You will really amaze your friends with this mystery because they will think you have messed up, but you then lower the boom on them, and it will be quite a surprise. The sound of your cards.